AEW Full Gear took place last night, and as always with any AEW show, it was total craziness. Let's not mess around, let's just get straight into the show, like the video, and let's begin. As we start off with the 0 hour, the pre-show, the show opened with Deonna Purrazzo versus Anna Jay. Deonna Purrazzo is starting her own faction seemingly and might be trying to recruit Anna Jay or something like that. It's a fine pre-show match here from these two, kind of a rampage or collision match you'd expect to see. Like I said, the action was fine. Anna Jay gets the win after a sneak pin after reversing the Fujiwara armbar from Deonna Purrazzo. So a big win for Anna Jay there. Then we have the 4-way match with the Beast Mortos, Dante Martin, Commander, and Buddy Matthews. A fun 4-way match here with 4 great wrestlers, great profiles of wrestlers. Buddy and Mortos obviously both being the brutes, and Commander and Dante being the high flyers, although Buddy and Mortos can fly themselves. And Buddy Matthews is very over here for some reason. Wherever the show was, Newark, New Jersey, he's very over at Newark, and he gets the win here too, and it's the right call. I could see this being the start of some sort of build for him leading up to Grand Slam Australia, but time will tell. And then we move on to the people's main event of the entire show, Big Boom AJ versus QT Marshall, and I've got a lot more notes on this one because there is a lot more to talk about. The Rizzler gets his own entrance as the timekeeper for the match and gets a crazy pop. I genuinely couldn't believe what I was watching. The match was kind of how you expected. It was slowed down lots of crowd interaction, but the crowd was super into it and were playing along the entire time. Big Boom AJ is super over, obviously. He gets a pop anytime he gets offense in, and also it keeps cutting to the Rizzler every few minutes or few seconds, and he's always hitting the Riz face. What a worker. And this match was fun, man. It was a good time. The crowd were into it. Big Boom AJ was really impressive, an impressive performance after having not wrestled on this scale ever before and properly in 20 years. The match ends when Big Justice hits a spear on QT Marshall and AJ hits the power boom to win as AJ, Justice, and the Rizzler all celebrate together. 5 stars. No, 6 stars. No, 6 booms. Anyway, moving on to the main show now, we open with the 4-way tag title match. House of Black, Outrunners, The Acclaimed, and Private Party defending their titles. This was your classic 4-way tag match, just pure pandemonium and always something going on. Lots of multi-man spots and non-existent tag 5 counts, you know the vibes. It was a good match, but I wasn't a fan that the main focus of this match was The Acclaimed and their storyline with their potential split. This is Private Party's first title defense. Come on, let's give them something better. Private Party get the win here and retain the belts. We get MJF and Roderick Strong up next. This match was a very nice match, but it felt more to me like a Dynamite main event, mainly because it was very short, especially for a Maxwell match. I feel like MJF always has 20-minute plus matches, and this one went just under 14, about 13 minutes 40 seconds, and so it felt quite short, but that's actually a pretty good length for a match, and I think they got enough in there. I don't think it needed to be longer. I think MJF and Roderick Strong did a good job with the time they were given, and like I said, it didn't really need any more time because they got everything in there. MJF wins with the Salt of the Earth and snaps Roderick Strong's arm. The Undisputed Kingdom come out to make the save, and Kyle O'Reilly does as well, and Kyle O'Reilly is not happy with Adam Cole. He feels as though it's his fault that this happened. So some stories being advanced there as we move closer to MJF Adam Cole finally having their blow-off match. But up next is Mercedes Mone defending her TBS title against Kris Statlander. I've got a lot more notes on this one as well, and especially after I made a video recently watching all the Mercedes Mone matches, I was really interested to see how this one would go. I knew this would be a good match, but it was way better than good. It's a dominant start for Kris Statlander, but Mercedes comes back with a Rana to the outside and a Meteora against the steps. It's the strength of Kris Statlander versus the speed of Mercedes Mone this entire match, as Mercedes Mone is chopping the wood and targeting Chris's knee. These two have great chemistry, and I saw so much new stuff in this match. You had Stat kipping up into a crazy Meteora instantly from CEO. Mercedes hits a rare 3 Amigos, but the Frog Splash is is caught and reversed into an F5. Statlander then goes to the 450, but then Mercedes moves out the way. Just an awesome sequence, and there was so much going on in this match. As Mercedes Mone hits 2 backstabbers and the Mone Maker on Kris Statlander, and Stat kicks out as the first person to kick out the Mone Maker, and a crazy near fall. Kris Statlander goes to the tombstone shortly after, but Mercedes Mone reverses it with a Cazadora, sending Stat throat first into the bottom rope, and then rolls her up for the win. It was a bit of a weird finish, but I don't actually mind when a match finishes with a wrestler hitting a big move just after they've hit like a series of finishes on them and they got a near fall. I think that makes sense still. I like when they do stuff like that. And yeah, what a match. This was Mercedes' best match in AEW so far for me, just recently after I did a video where I ranked all of them. Of course, a new best one comes in and happens. Mercedes Mone proving how good she can go in the ring. But up next is Adam Page versus Jay White. This match is part of an ongoing feud that has been going on for a while now, it feels like, with Adam Page and Jay White. I'm not really sure what they're doing with Adam Page, and I'm still kind of scratching my head after watching this match. This match was good. Obviously, it was good. These are 2 slick in-ring workers, 2 smooth in-ring workers. The match had a slow build to it. It worked its way up to a big final act, but the entire match still delivered. And yeah, man, like I said, I don't know what's going on with Hangman Page, because Jay White wins again here. He got the Blade Runner out of nowhere, and I was very shocked to see Jay White win this match. Page attacks Daniels afterwards in anger and maybe will be suspended from AEW. Kinda confused what's going on, but we do get some stuff at the end of the show with Adam Page, which we'll get onto later. Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher are having their grudge match up next after Kyle Fletcher betrayed his good friend. It's your classic Will Ospreay match, your classic Will Ospreay pay-per-view event match. But this one felt a little different to the ones he was in before. There's definitely much more of a story behind this one, and it played into the match, you could tell. The crowd are obviously really into it. They're getting hotter for the match as it goes on, and Fletcher and Ospreay have great chemistry. Fletcher did really well to keep up with Ospreay and have one of Ospreay's best matches in AEW so far. Some crazy spots like Fletcher hitting a tombstone to Ospreay on the steps outside and then destroying him with a top rope brainbuster to get the win for a huge upset. Huge win for Kyle Fletcher. It seems like AEW are really pushing him now, so I wonder what's next for him as his partner Mark Davis comes out to tend to Ospreay, and surely he's gonna turn at some point. Maybe Aussie Open comes back, but I don't know. Kyle Fletcher's getting a big singles push nowadays. Next up is the Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May celebration segment. This shouldn't be a segment on pay-per-view. Put this on TV. The women's champion should be defending her belt on pay-per-view. Mariah and Mina, they're doing their champagne thing. They're drinking a champagne, doing some dancing, and then Mariah goes to attack Mina, but Mina dodges it before Mariah spits on her, and then Mina spears her off stage through a table. That all escalated very quickly. And then afterwards she starts bloodying her up, and this segment, I don't think it was bad. It was actually an alright segment to me, but it just didn't need to happen. They could have easily done this exact angle on TV weeks ago and then used that to build up to a Mariah versus Mina match on this show rather than starting the build on this show. It's an L for AEW overall here. Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia for the TNT title is up next. And whilst this wasn't the best match of the show, I think it was still a pretty good match, and probably the best Jack Perry TNT title match so far. Goes to show you what happens when you give him an opponent that's actually been built up with an actual story behind the match, and you get a match with actual heat and the crowd actually care about it. An awesome one-legged pile driver from Daniel Garcia reversing Perry's super kick attempt to get the win and win the TNT title, the correct result. Jack Perry's title reign with the TNT title really wasn't good to me, especially after Adam Copeland and Christian Cage had done wonders for that belt. I don't think Jack Perry had a very good reign with the TNT title, and I really do wonder what the scapegoat does next. Next up though is Takeshita versus Ricochet for the International Championship. Oh man, was this underwhelming. This was easily the worst match of the night, and you wouldn't expect that from these two. These are two objectively great in-ring workers who have had great matches already. They were in that triple threat match with Ospreay and they delivered there, but yet they couldn't deliver singles. And I think the style of match they went for just kinda hurt the match in general. It's slow and methodical, they're doing wrist holds, like, we're 3 hours into the show at this point. Just go balls to the wall for 12 mins. I saw a lot of people comparing this to AJ versus Shinsuke from Mania 34, which I actually really see the comparisons. Both matches just failing to ever kick it into the next gear. Always feeling like it's on the verge of going to the next gear, but just staying where it is. I guess you could say these guys were wrestling on half gear, not full gear. Ha! Swerve versus Lashley is up next, and this was a match that actually had the right approach to it. This is the match that had, a more methodical style to it. But even so, as the match progressed, they were doing crazier stuff and did kick it into that next gear, did Swerve and Lashley, as this was a good match and a good, real debut for Bobby Lashley in AEW. They're doing some good work in the ring before they take it outside, and Swerve hits a swerve stomp to Lashley through the announce table before Bobby Lashley spears him through the barricade. And then in the ring, he puts Swerve to sleep with the Hurt Lock and gets the win here. Good match between the two here, good co-main event. And definitely this story is not finished. There's no way this is the last time Swerve and Lashley faced each other. It definitely felt like they left that door open for another match between the two here. Anyway, it's main event time as it's Moxley defending the world title against the heart and soul of AEW, Orange Cassidy. This match was a brawl from start to finish, and this was definitely the Moxley that we usually know and one of his best performances in a while in an AEW ring, reverting back from that shoot fighter style he's been currently using or recently using and going back to that just brawler style, just trying to kill someone in the ring. It's a Mox match, so there's blood, although to be fair, I don't think Moxley has actually bled in a match in a while, and whilst I didn't like this match as much as their other two matches from previous years, this match was still very good and a good main event to cap off the show, I thought. Mox really punishes and dominates Cassidy throughout this entire match, but Cassidy obviously doing the whole babyface thing of refusing to stay down, and he's never quitting, and he still has the fight. It's a big overbooked ending with lots of interference from the conglomeration and Death Riders and Christian Cage, as Cassidy gets a big near fall using the briefcase on Moxley, right before he is attacked directly by Wheeler Yuta as the ref is distracted, and Mox hits the Death Rider to get the win. And then after the match, Hangman Adam Page comes out and he's staring down with Jon Moxley before Christian Cage then attacks Jon Moxley and looks to be cashing in his briefcase for his world title opportunity, but then Jay White attacks him, and then Jay White is jumped by the Death Riders who exit the scene, and on their way out of the arena, Darby Allin attempts vehicular homicide on them. There is so much going on post-match, and that is how we end the show. I'll give this show an 8 out of 10 overall. This is how I would rank every match. Yeah, Takeshita Ricochet didn't deliver. I'd have liked to see a women's world title match, but a very good show. Match of the night for me was either Mercedes Mone versus Kris Statlander, or Big Boom AJ against QT Marshall. I genuinely can't decide. But guys, that's it from me. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of AEW Full Gear. What were your thoughts on the show? Did it bring the boom? What were your star ratings? And leave a like on the video if you did enjoy. Like I said, subscribe with notifications on to be the first to see any more wrestling content from me. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye and keep on rolling.